There's news of ruckus at the shooting of Sanjay Leela Bhansali's film in Jaipur. A mob accused the director of wrong portrayal of historical facts. And these are the first images that NewsX has accessed. This is during the shooting of the film Padmavati.
सेना के माध्यम से हम राजस्थान में शूटिंग बिल्कुल नहीं होने देंगे और इसके आगे भी वो कोई चैलेंज लेना चाहता है तो हम वो चैलेंज लेने के लिए यहाँ राजस्थान में तैयार खड़े हैं। अगर मूवी उसने और रानी पद्मिनी जी के बारे में अगर कुछ उल्टा सीधा तोड़ के कुछ बताया तो हम उस मूवी को रिलीज नहीं होने देंगे और यहाँ तक कि उसकी शूटिंग भी इस राजस्थान में नहीं होने देंगे।
Reports say the police reached the venue and brought the situation under control. Following this ruckus, the director himself was also assaulted. My colleague Pranesh joining us on the phone line. Pranesh, which specific facts is the filmmaker being accused of distorting, and what has he said about the film? Is this a historic film? Is it fictional?
Alji, we'll come to the distortion later, but this story is essentially about the violence. This is an attack on creative freedom. This is an attempt by these fringe groups to censor by intimidation and violence. A film set gets attacked in the heart of Jaipur. Remember, the Chief Minister there has been very vocal about her efforts to woo filmmakers to come and shoot in Rajasthan and the locales there. And now you have a situation where a filmmaker, and a leading filmmaker at that, Sanjay Leela Bhansali, who's won national awards and is very famous for his films in the past, was vandalized, his film set vandalized, and you can see in these pictures that we've circled him being targeted by the members of these fringe groups as they rain blows on his head and his jaw. So this is a very disturbing situation that is coming out from Jaipur. We are trying to get in touch with members of the film unit who can tell us exactly as to what happened. But like I said, the larger problem in this is about the violence, the gundagiri by which this fringe group is trying to intimidate the filmmaker. If they don't like a creative interpretation of any filmmaker, they can approach the court, they can write to the censor board. We have a mechanism in place, but this is no way of you're imposing what you think on not just a film unit or a filmmaker, but on any individual. Tomorrow, if these people go unpunished, this will only embolden them to attack and harass local people. Palki.
Absolutely, a very valid point you made there, Pranesh. Uday is also joining us. Uday, any reactions from the film crew and their first statements?
Well, no, they have not actually reacted right now, but of course they are must be in absolute shock, of course, Palki, because this is absolutely shocking behavior. The Karni Sena outfit, just because they disagree with the filmmaker's interpretation, barge onto the film set at the Jaipur Palace in Jaipur, vandalize the set property, and of course manhandle Sanjay Leela Bhansali literally. As these visuals of course show you, he was hit on the head, he was pushed around, and this is absolutely shocking. This of course is a national award-winning filmmaker, but not just the fact that he's a filmmaker, but how any outfit can just disagree with a premise of a movie or disagree with something and just barge onto a set, and create havoc, manhandling someone. Now, we do believe, of course, that there have been detentions in this story. The police were immediately called on to the film sets. They acted detaining some members of this outfit, of course. But is that enough? Why didn't this happen earlier? And who in the first instance has given these people the right to be the custodians of law, to be the self-custodians of history, and disagree with, the filmmaker's interpretation and then indulge in such behavior? Now, Palki, the movie, of course, is called Padmavati. It is based on the life of Queen Padmini, who is a historical character, and her relationship with another person who, of course, is played by Ranveer Singh in the movie. Padmavati's character is played by Deepika Padukone. The film, of course, is being made and it's been shot in a variety of locations, including Jaipur. And this, of course, is what the Karni Sena disagrees with. They disagree with the love story angle. They disagree with certain facts that Sanjay Leela Bhansali is trying to bring about. But as he's maintained, his is a work of fiction. And, of course, he should be allowed certain creative liberty. Remember, it's not the first time, though, this has happened. It happened with his earlier movie, Bajirao Mastani, which faced a lot of protests as well, which was also based on historical characters. It's happened earlier in the case of Jodha Akbar as well, where you have these outfits, who object to to the release and, of course, file various cases as well. So, you know, it's not a first, but a very dangerous precedent, of course. And in this case, it turned violent, which is absolutely condemnable.
And what is even more shocking, Uday, is the fact that not only did the members of this Karni Sena attack the filmmaker and his crew, but they had the gall to come out and give sound bites to the media. They did not fear that any legal action will be taken against them.
Well, absolutely. I mean, they were absolutely brazen. Because they, you know, of course, gave sound bites there saying that they have done this because they disagree with Sanjay Leela Bhansali and they disagree with the movie makers and they want to teach them a lesson. But, of course, it's, you know, brazen, the way in which they stormed into the film sets there in Jaipur as well. They literally went onto the film sets, started creating havoc. The film shooting, of course, was immediately disrupted. There were a huge crowd of onlookers which also got onto the scene. And they literally started pushing and shoving Sanjay Leela Bhansali, hitting him on the head. He had to be escorted away by security, as you can see, you know, from these visuals. I mean, this is extremely brazen, and you know, the administration must, of course, answer why the security was not given to the film crew. A, was it asked for in the first place? And B, if it was, why wasn't it provided? But yes, the big question, of course, is can these people become the custodians of law? Can they be the custodians of history? What gives them the right to encroach upon someone else's creative liberty? And what gives them the right to take the law into their own hands? If they disagree with the filmmaker, they can go to court, like a number of other outfits have gone in the past as well. And their cases either get taken on board by the court or they get thrown out. But what gives them the right to, you know, create havoc on a film set, wasting, of course, a lot of people's money involved, but also indulging in violence, which is, of course, a condemnable act. And that's why the police have acted, taking 4 people into custody, into detention. Remains to be seen whether they will also be pressing charges, putting a case on them or not.
And the question, of course, remains who will rein in these Gunda censors and what sort of action will be taken? Will exemplary action be taken against these people to ensure that such an episode is not repeated anywhere in the country? We're going to take a short break and wrap up this episode of Spotlight, but thanks very much for joining us here.